Well, good evening, everybody. My JBM here. So, I wanted to make this video earlier today, but I just couldn't get to it. You know, a lot of crap going on. And as you can see, I'm not in the car this time. This is the best place I could find to have some privacy. Be able to talk to you guys a little bit about me, how I came to Flat Earth. I've had a lot of people ask me, usually when I'm talking to them and they start to get it, they always come back and say, well, how did you get there? What led you there? What did it for you? You know, how did you stumble onto it or search it out, or what was it? Alright, so I'm going to tell you my story. I'm going to tell you my whole story. And I tend to tell stories and they tend to get lengthy. So I'll try to keep it short when I can, as much as I can. But it is what it is. Alright, so here we go. My name's Jack. I live here in South Florida, Stuart. I actually have been here many years. Grew up here, you know, middle school, high school, a little bit of college. So when I was younger, I had some really interesting experiences. When I was maybe 13, 12, somewhere around there, I discovered that I was able to do a couple of neat things. And number one, I had this ability to leave my body. I know it sounds crazy, but through a relaxing technique in bed at night, I was able to find that I could pop out. And so that, from that age, I knew that there was more than just this earthly, all this out here. I knew there was something more. Not long, just a few years after that, a little bit older, I had an intense personal experience with God. It is what it is. That led me to do some searching, and you know, I don't remember what it was that I was actually searching for, you know, what it led me to find, but I remember it was an intense experience and changed my life. I knew God was real. I knew that the Bible was real. All of it. I knew it was all real. So, I went about my daily life, normal life. Went to high school, joined the Marines. When I got out, met a girl, my wife, and we had a couple kids, a couple great boys. Best things that ever happened to me. Changed my life again. Just so you know, none of my videos are scripted. I pretty much talk like I'm talking to you sitting in front of me. That's what the pauses and ums and it's just me trying to figure it out so that I can say it. Alright, so, ooh, squirrel. Describes me perfectly. So we had our kids, and we got married. And it wasn't working. it just wasn't working. And it wasn't working for a lack of trying. That I can tell you for sure. If you knew me in person, you'd know I'm one of the most patient people. You know, I could put up with a lot. But it just wasn't working. Suffice it to say that. So, we moved up to Vero Beach, Florida. And I'm sorry, some of this stuff I'm going to talk about is emotional for me. And I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm not afraid to show emotion. I'm not afraid to lay it all out on the line right for you, for anybody. And as I do that, it may get emotional, more so than it already is. I wanted my marriage to work. I really did. But it wasn't. It just wasn't. And I knew God was real, but I kind of had this, duality that a lot of us have. And that was the programming for the globe and gravity and evolution. It's just not compatible with God. It just isn't. It's opposite. Total opposition. So you cannot say, well, I believe in God, and I kind of believe in evolution. You can say it, okay? You can say it, but that doesn't make it true. And I firmly believe now that it is incompatible completely. So, that's where I was. So one night, second time in my life, I got this. I didn't touch on it the first time, but with the first experience, but with the second experience, it was as if God lit a fire inside of me that created a need, a thirst for some kind of knowledge that I obviously didn't know. I had not done really any kind of investigation beyond the Bible, beyond the cursory, what we all do. We believe, but we don't really know. You know what I mean? Or I'm not a pastor over here, so I go to church, I know what they say, I go along with it, I read passages here and there. You know what I mean? Same kind of stuff we probably all did. This calling, this fire, just fire inside of me was unquenchable. I couldn't stop it. I couldn't control it. I had absolutely no control, none at all. So I just kind of went with it. And what it led me to was some serious investigation on the Freemasons. And it was over a week. Over a week I was searching it out and finding it and reading it and absorbing it and trying to make sense of it all. Trying to work at a business. 2 kids, a wife, just bought a house, all that stuff. So, had a lot going on. Well, it turns out after a couple of weeks of me every day, all my free time at night, I put a chair in the bedroom, so I could hang out with my wife. I wanted to spend time with her. I thought that was important, that we spend time together. And if I was going to do this research, I wanted to do it in her presence so that, we're spending time together. and I wanted to talk about it with her, and we did. And it got to a point where my wife was on the, laying in bed or whatever one night, and I think it was during the day, like late afternoon, and I came back to the house, and I had had some kind of breakthrough or revelation or something like that. But I really need to talk to her. That's the whole point. I really needed to talk to her. And oh, you know what it was? It was I was led to a complete stranger who just happened to be a Freemason, and I felt a pull. Like, when I say I was led there, I was led there. I had no control. I ended up at a McDonald's that I would never have been at, in an area of town that I never would have been in, and had never ventured there before. So I end up walking over to this dude. He's sitting there by himself. I end up walking over to him and sitting down at his table. I don't know who he is. He doesn't know who I am. I sit down. He looks at me like I'm crazy, but friendly. I sat down with him, and he's like, how you doing? And I was like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, can I help you? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm sitting here with you. I was basically put here. And he was like, okay, well, can I help you? And I just kind of looked at him, and I shook my head, and I said, I don't think so. I think I'm here to help you. And I don't know how, and I don't know why. But I think that's what I'm doing. I think I'm here to talk to you for a very specific reason, which I have no idea what it is. And I figure if I just sit here for a minute, it might come clear. Whatever's supposed to happen may just happen. He was like, okay, well, no problem. And I remember I said to him, hey, listen, I'm not crazy. What's happening to me is real. I have no control. And then it just started coming out of me. And I started saying things, asking him questions about Freemasons, and if it's not, a religion, why do you have an altar? And just some really crazy things that are like hot buttons. I've always had this deal where if something is a strong belief for you, well, I want to talk about it. I want to know, why is it so strong with you? What is it that motivates you? What is it about the subject that creates such a passion for you? I like to talk about that stuff. People say, religion and politics, you don't want to talk about that. Bullshit. That's the stuff I want to talk about because people don't want to talk about it. As far as I'm concerned, if you have that feeling strongly about your religion or whatever, politics, whatever, well, tell me why. I want to know why. I want to know. I want to know. A lot of people aren't comfortable with that. I don't know why. I'm totally comfortable with it. So, I ended up saying some things that, it was basically like, I was just like, blah. Ugh, I'm sorry. Whoa, I'm sorry. I don't know where this is coming from. And then, blah, it would come out again. I'd be like, oof, okay. I'm really not trying to start anything with you. I am not choosing these words. This is not me. This is not me coming out. This is something else coming through me. And so we had this really intense experience, the both of us. And I felt this feeling. The hairs on my arms and my neck and everything were just like, just blah, like a porcupine, blah. And I'll never forget that feeling. And when I start talking about God, I get that feeling again. I think that's, the Holy Spirit working through me. That's what I think. I could be wrong. And I frequently am about various things. I can admit it. But that's what I think was happening. So, we ended up having this pretty intense experience, both of us. And I left there and, went to do my business and my normal work day. This was in the morning. And when I got home that late afternoon or evening is when I wanted to go talk to my wife about this and say, hey, wow, check it out. Babe, you're never going to believe what happened to me today. All this stuff that I've been searching out, came together today. And she was like, what do you mean? So I told her the story. And her reaction was less than favorable, to say the least. I believe that all that happened to show me that my wife and I were not on the same page as far as God and the Bible. And that was a turning point for me, unfortunately. Or fortunately, however you choose to look at it. And I fought it. I did not want to lose my wife because as far as I was concerned, that was equal to losing my family. Sorry. It's still emotional to me. I still struggle with it. I do. And we're still married. Separated 5 years. Well, when the kids were little, I would always do story time, in bed with the kids, one on each side of me, and I'd have the book, and we'd, read the book together. I'd have one turn the page, one hold the book on the other side to hold the pages down so I can read them. And I would do that with the Bible. I would read them the Bible, start at Genesis, and we would just read it. And I'd read, a couple paragraphs and then talk about it, Well, my wife that day was like, what is wrong with you? What is your problem? Why are you going crazy with this stuff? It's every day, every night. It's like all you do. I said, I know. I have no control. I don't know what's happening. But it's happening whether we like it or not. I don't know what else to tell you. And she just wasn't having it. And that was the beginning of the end. We did not last much longer after that. And I believe now, in hindsight, not now this moment, but a few years ago, I knew that happened to show me that we were not on the same page, and quite possibly we were not compatible. It is what it is. whatever. So that was the second time. Second time in my life that kind of experience happened. So we ended up separating and ended up getting back together, a couple months later, and it just would be good for, a couple days and then be bad for a week, and be good for a few days and bad for a couple more days. At that time, I've never really been a drinker, but during that period in my life, I would go and drink an entire bottle of Merlot. Wine was my thing. I just wouldn't even bother with a glass. Just uncork that bitch. I would do that every night. I'm not proud of that. But I did it. So, I own it. And I would get just drunk, because I'm a cheap date anyway. Total lightweight. So drinking a full bottle, regular bottle, 4 glasses. Wasted. And I would go like 2 or 3 in the morning, I'd be drunk, I'd go outside in the backyard, and I'd just start talking shit to God, talk shit to Satan. It's a bad time for me in my life. I'm really glad it happened. Because it led me to today, right now. Without that, I don't think we'd be having this conversation right now. So that drinking bullshit didn't last long. Maybe a couple weeks. So, as my boys grew, I didn't get to have the time with them that I felt I should have. And what I mean by that is children need their parents. And I'm not like these guys that I see every day. Deadbeat fucks don't want to spend time with their kids. Rather spend time in a bar. Rather spend time with anything. I fought to keep those boys. And I did. So, my youngest was living with me several months ago for the summer. Staying with me. My little house, 1-bed house, and it was great. It was good. And my older one was coming back and forth. My older one turned 16. My younger one is 14. I didn't just pause because I didn't know how old he was. I was pausing because I was trying to connect the time, the timeline. Again, these are not scripted. These are just me just spitting it out from here, out to there, right into your face. So, my boys ended up going, you know what, that's further. So, I got this feeling for the third time. This insane fire inside me just raged, not anger rage, but raging fire coming out of me. And I said, whoa, okay, all right, God, this is the third time around. This is my first rodeo. I know this feeling. So I'm going to give it up. I surrender. You lead me where you want me to go. You show me what you want me to see. Obviously, you need me to learn something. So, I'm an open book. Take me there. Well, he took me there. He brought it, and he brought it big. And what he hit me with, he led me directly to the 8th king of Revelation. Yep. And he led me to learn all about the Vatican, the first beast of Revelation. The whole entire papal system, the second beast, the United States. And this was probably 6 or 7 months ago. And as soon as I started getting the info, me being me, I started talking about it. And I started with my kids. And I would talk, and I'd have the Bible right there, and I'd bust it out, and they'd ask me questions, and I'd point it out, and read out the passages, and then we'd watch videos. And if you're interested in this kind of stuff, I would recommend World's Last Chance videos on YouTube. Okay? They are the ones I started with. And there's WLC for short. WLC videos on YouTube. I can recommend a good video called Living Under the Last Pope. That's a great one. So, I learned that the Lateran Treaty of 1929 was the resurrection of the first beast. The papal system came back into power. And as it just happens to be, Francis is our 8th Pope, or 8th King. Because we all know the Pope is the king of the world, historically, right? So this was some pretty heavy truth. And I was sharing that with my kids. And I remember at the beginning of this year, sometime, January, February, whatever it was, I remember I was hanging out and I was watching TV back when I had TV. And I remember on the mainstream media, because I like to watch the news, and this little blurb came up, and they said, oh, here's some news. This is pretty wild, but here's a Saudi cleric. Listen to what he says. And this Saudi cleric gets up, and I'm watching, and he's like, I just want to let you all know that NASA's lying. Earth is flat. And that was about all I saw, because I jumped. What? Are you insane? Like, I'm yelling at the TV. Are you crazy? What the hell did this guy just say? Earth is flat? Dude, it's 2015. We got pictures of Earth from space. We've been to the moon. What are you talking about? Much like the rest of you did when you heard this for the first time. I completely dismissed this dude as a crackpot. You're insane. Get out of here. I don't even want to know what you're saying. Everybody knows we live on a spinning ball, throwing ourselves through the universe. Get out of here, dude. So, six months or so ago from right now, as I'm looking at the 8th King and, watching Bible stuff and learning more about, Revelation, which used to drive my wife crazy. She just did not want to know about Revelation. And I would always say, hey, you know what? This is the time we live in right now. Revelation is for us right now, so we know what the hell's going on, what to expect, and how we can, deal with it. She just wasn't having it. She watched some kind of movie. I think it was called like A Thief in the Night, black and white movie from way back. 70s or so, 60s maybe, I don't know. And apparently that movie really freaked her out. So she just didn't even want to know, you know. So every time I talk about Revelation, she just, blah. It's part of that rift I was talking about. Well, I know Revelations today. I know what's happening. I'm sure every one of you that knows flat Earth is flat knows this too. Because flat Earth leads to God. Sorry, it does. So, ooh, shiny. Easily distracted. So, as I'm learning this stuff, you know, you're on YouTube. You're on YouTube right now. You're watching me. So if I'm not full screen, you see right there on this side, next to me, a bunch of videos going down the side. Right? Well, if you're looking at flat Earth, if you're looking at God stuff, you're going to see flat Earth over there. You're just going to see them. They go together. You know, they go together. And I remember when I first started seeing it, I was just like, oh my God, what? This dude's saying flat Earth proof. This dude's saying proof of flat Earth. We don't live on a globe. Oh my God, get out of here with this. And I didn't even look. Just continued with, you know, the God stuff. Well, after about a month of the God stuff, I don't know, I was having a bad day, and, you know, I went to go look at, you know, another video on God, or near-death experiences, because I study those too. It just pissed me off. I saw that video on the sidebar, and I was like, you know what? What the fuck? Why the fuck do they keep saying this bullshit? Flat Earth? What's the matter with you people? You guys are fucking nuts, crazy crackpots. But I said, you know what? I'm a rational, intelligent person. What the fuck are they saying is there proof? Alright, you know what? I'll look. I will arm myself with what you call evidence, and I'm going to pick your shit apart. Yeah, bring it. Oh, damn it, you flat earthers. You brought it, and you brought it big. And you fucked me up. It took me about 5 minutes of watching my perspective. Shout out to you, buddy. Rory. Dude, you presented it in such a way that we see it every day around us. Dude, you fucking rock. I'll shake your hand and buy you a beer any day. I hope I can meet you one day. Same with you. Jeranism, you were one of the catalysts for me too. Mr. Thrive and Survive, Rich, I gotta be honest with you. When I first saw that, the first video I saw was that one with the rainbow and like the cartoony green plains field background, and I was just like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? But then you started talking and I listened to you. Cannot judge a book by its cover. Rich, you do a great fucking job too. You show shit. You know, the thing is, with everybody doing these videos, we all do it a little differently. And that's why I decided to do them. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, my perspective, okay? About 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And I was blown away. I was blown away in the sense like, no, 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 wait, what? Oh my God, is that for real? No, no. Maybe. No! all right, you know what? Fuck it. You're right. No, this can't be right. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I just could not wrap my head around it. Well, it took me about a week. And I didn't realize it until I was out somewhere. And I don't know how it happened, but somehow I just kind of stumbled and fell into a conversation about it with somebody. A couple of people. And I was just like, have you heard about this shit? I'm so, I don't, you know, what is this about? And they started talking shit about it, and they started seriously defending the globe. And wouldn't you know it, I found myself defending the flat earth, and I didn't really know shit. It was right then and there I knew. Boom. Flat earther, nice to meet you. So I went home, immediately got on Facebook and said, well, I guess I'm firmly entrenched in this camp now. I have stepped over the line, both feet. What's up? That's how I came to Flat Earth. Flat Earth is real, people. It's real. It's flat. Flat as a pancake. Earlier tonight, before I came here to do this video, literally 15 minutes before I came here to do this video, one of my coworker buddies, great guy. You know who you are, Rocco. He called me up and said, Jack, man, I'm out here trying to talk to my homeboy, trying to tell him the earth is flat, and he just doesn't believe it. And I need you to tell him, I need you to drop some shit on him. I said, all right, buddy, you got it. Put me on speakerphone. I'm going to put you on speakerphone too. We talked about the flat line horizon. We talked about water not curving. We talked about the lack of 1,000-mile-an-hour spin feeling. We talked about how can a plane leave the same place and go in the opposite directions at the same rate, the same distance, and land at the same time. We talked about how can there, either way you go, if the Earth is spinning and the atmosphere is spinning with us at the lower level against the ground, or the Earth is spinning and the atmosphere is not moving, well, you're going to get a crazy-ass wind shear either way you want to look at that. Either one, crazy wind shear, bye-bye wings, see you later to flight. Adios, nice knowing you. Not possible. We talked about, he brought up NASA. Everybody's favorite topic here. And he said, well, we've been to the moon. So I went through that with him. We went back and forth. I talked to him about, hey, listen, if the sun's 93 miles away, how is it possible we can watch it shrink as it goes and sets? It shrinks. We can see it every day. Pretty obvious. If that bitch was out there 93 million miles away, it would stay the same size as it left. Or as we moved. Right? Come on. Pretty obvious. We talked about a sextant. People want to argue all the time. I tell them, bust out a sextant. People navigated with that for how many years? Forever. It's one of the most basic, navigation tools. But don't let the word basic fool you, because it is highly accurate. Alright, I'm getting ahead of myself again. So it turns out I made this dude start to seriously question his globe belief. Yes! I don't have to convince you Earth is flat. I just have to make you doubt it. In court, globe, you lose. Period. Reasonable doubt, you're fucked. All right, so back to my discovery of flat Earth. So once I realized I was firmly entrenched in the flat Earth camp, I got that feeling again. Except it wasn't a feeling to learn. It was a feeling to share. And I got the most intense sense of urgency to speak this stuff and show my boys, who 16 and 14. Well, 16 and 13. My youngest was, his birthday's in October. Turned 14 in October. So 16 and 13. My kids were in Alaska with the grandparents. I was communicating with them and telling them these things as I was getting more and more confident with it, because I was led to share it with them. I mean, it was like the most important thing in my life. Nothing else mattered but me getting this information to my boys so that I could confirm that they know God is real, believe in Jesus, accept, and are going to heaven. That's it. Well, they came back from Alaska. And I spent time with my sons, and I started learning about Sabbath day. And one night, it was the Sabbath, the actual Sabbath, not fake-ass Sunday church, but the real Sabbath. And my older son was awake with me, and I think my younger son was sleeping. This was late. This is 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I told him that it was the true Sabbath day, and we busted out the Bible, and we put on some videos, and we talked, and we would go outside. Other times we would go outside and I'd point at the moon and I'd say, "Tell me what you see. You tell me. What do you see?" And he'd tell me, "He looks like a light bulb. How can it be lighting up the clouds like that?" Smart kid. He fully accepted, fully believed it, because he knew. He could see it with his own eyes. He knew it. This was after him coming back from a Bible camp also, where he did accept Jesus. But he talked to me. He told me things that he didn't tell anybody else. We had a tight relationship. Because I stayed there. I stayed in his life. I made effort. Sorry. When he fully accepted, and I knew it, August 26th, he dropped dead in front of me. Massive sudden heart attack. Just a few months ago. I'll never get over it. Never. years old. Perfectly healthy. We surf, run, play. He was a healthy dude. He had a lot going on, had a girlfriend. He was a great kid. Everybody loved him. We did CPR. It was at my cousin's house. I did CPR for 12 minutes. We couldn't bring him back. The ambulance finally got there. Got him to the hospital. And they continued CPR and trying for 3 hours. And we just couldn't get him back. Of course, they all blamed me because he was with me. Whatever, fine. That makes you feel better? Go for it. I was there. I know what happened. I know he went to heaven. I know it. Everything I've learned about life after death, and God, and the Bible. I mean, people want to talk shit about the Bible. It's 100% accurate. Bring your shit. I'll debunk you all day long. You want to tell me shit's not real? Good luck. Heaven's real. Hell is real. Flat Earth is real. The firmaments are real. So I know he went to heaven. That's why I keep doing this. That's why. Because I care about every one of you out there watching me. I don't know you. If I met you on the street and you didn't say hi, I wouldn't know if you watched my videos. But I think this is how God is using me. I've always felt like there's something I'm supposed to do. I've always felt like I'm here in these end times because I'm supposed to save people, protect people. I don't know. But I've definitely always felt like last man standing. You want to live? Come with me. Ironically, I couldn't save my son. My younger son's now 14. Everybody in the family, everyone, has called me every name in the book. You're crazy. You're insane. You're a cult leader. You are infecting the kids. You're filling their head with bullshit. You're fucking those kids up. You're creating problems for everybody else. You're a fool. You're dead wrong. Why are you saying this stupid shit? You look like an idiot. People are talking about you. They're saying they're worried about you. They're concerned that you're crazy. Well, you all, and I, know that that's bullshit. None of us are crazy. Well, actually, we are all kind of crazy in our own way. But that's not what I mean. That's not the kind of crazy. So I'm working on my younger son. My wife just this morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, calls me up. Of course I didn't answer the phone. Really? She leaves this voicemail. What is wrong with you? I'm going to show this video to Forrest's counselor. Everyone is concerned. You're posting all this crazy shit on Facebook. I watched one of your videos on YouTube. You are insane. Not only that, but you're wrong on every level. Yeah, I keep hearing that from people. Prove it. Talk is cheap. You want to call me names. I made sure my son went to heaven because of this. Flat Earth proved it. Try to use Isaiah against me. He who sitteth on the circle of the earth. Do we know what a circle is? All right, okay. I'm starting that Monday rant again. You know, a little emotionally charged. Try to keep myself in check. I will stand in front of anybody. You think it's a globe? I'll show you it's not. My son he says he believes it. My younger son. I got me against this many people versus me working my son. Guess who's winning? Yeah. Why? Because we're right. Truth is truth. No matter how uncomfortable it makes you feel, truth is truth. And if we're looking for truth, do we really give a shit what it ends up being? As long as it's truth? Should it matter? As long as it's truth? Well, we know the answer to that, don't we? So I just had my son tonight. The way things have worked out, it seems I only get to get him once a week now. One day. Like 3 fucking hours. Like, yeah, okay. Alright. Yeah, 14-year-old boy, he only needs 3 hours a week with his dad. I need those boys as much as they need me. And if any of you in this family are watching this, I'm not going to stop. I'm not stopping. I will fight for him no matter what you bring. You can't bring enough people to stop me. You're not strong enough to stop me. Try. As you can see, everybody out there, friends, I am quite opinionated and emotional. This is what I'm talking about when you see on my other videos. You know, keep it civil, keep it nice. You want to talk shit on my comments? Do it. Tell me how fucked up I am. Bring it. Oh no. You call me crazy. Get over it. You want to do something? Raise your hand to me. Other than that, you're just aggravating people. Keep it civil. Keep it nice. Keep it easy. If you want to argue with me, the best way you can argue with me is be nice. Be respectful. And I'm going to be just super nice and patient and respectful back because that's what I like. I like an open, intelligent, free sharing of information. That's all we all want. That's what we like to do as humans. We like to gather around and talk. Freely share the information. Share ideas. Discuss validity. All that kind of stuff. We love it. We all love it. Love it! So talk shit all you want. Just keep it simple. Civil. Easy. Respectful. If we're talking in person, and you want to start saying shit like you're fucking stupid, well, you better be ready. Because I don't take that shit lightly. I am an anti-bully, and I'm not going to put up with your shit. That being said, any of you out there, anybody that's not even watching this video, anybody out here, if I see bullying happen, I get involved. I just told you I was with my son tonight. We went to Publix, our grocery store here in Florida. We get out of the car, we're walking, we take, 5 steps, and there is a Publix dude and another dude in a truck. And they're back and forth, just and the dude gets out of the truck. And the Publix dude puts whatever he's doing down. And they come together. About 5 feet between them. And they're just going at it, verbally. I'm with my 14-year-old. So I said, all right, son. I'm going to show you how we handle confrontation. I walked over, and I was like, hey, fellas, what's going on here? What's happening? So this dude explains to me what's going on. This dude tells me what's going on. And I say, okay, all right, listen, guys. First of all, is it worth your job? Is it worth you going to jail? Is this really worth it? Come on. Why don't you guys let it go? You're working. Don't worry about it. You're trying to eat. Enjoy your time. Let it go, guys. And they did. So we walked away. And I said, okay, there you go, Forrest. This is how we handle conflict when we see it. We try to stop it. We try to intervene. Some of you out there would say, well, you really shouldn't get involved in that because what if, the aggression turns to you? Yeah, like that's ever stopped me. I'm not worried about that. Trust me, I can handle myself. It's not about that. It's about doing what's right with our fellow man. It's about being a man. It's about setting an example. It's about teaching a boy to be a good man. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. And part of being a good man is being a godly man. A man of integrity. Honesty. Strength. Respect. Honor. All of these things, for me, are reinforced by Flat Earth. Simply because Flat Earth proves God, which proves heaven.